over these last days, there have been stories told that, when put together, have been said to be poses. And perhaps you've gleaned by now that a poser, unlike an enigma or a riddle or a conundrum that can be machinated over by the mind or debated and discussed, can only be understood and answered from elsewhere. Perhaps we could say from within or from direct experience. But there are several stories, small stories. The first is about a young man who grew up to be a great Sufi teacher. But in his early years, when he went to school, and his teacher tried to teach the class the alphabet, the Arabic alphabet, this young man could only learn the first letter of the alphabet, Alif. No matter how his teacher tried, he could not go past the first letter of the alphabet. All the other boys in the class learned the complete alphabet, but this young man was unable to go beyond the Alif. So his teacher classed him as unteachable and sent him home and told his parents not to bother to send him to school again. Well, his parents were very concerned, and they got tutors to try to come and teach him, but to no avail. He could only learn the Alif. His parents were beside themselves, so in order to stop them from being so concerned about him, the young boy left his home and went into the forest. And there he found that the birds were Alif, the trees were Alif, the animals were Alif, and he himself was the Alif. So the years passed, and he decided to go back to his old teacher to thank him for his teaching. When he went back to the school, there was the old teacher, and when the young man, now a grown man, thanked him, the teacher thought to himself, well, this stupid boy remembers me. And then the boy, now a man, in thanking the old teacher, said, can I tell you what I have learned? And then perhaps you can show me, teach me anything more that I need to know. With that, the teacher said, draw it on the wall. So the boy, now a man, wrote the Alif on the wall. And as the teacher looked, the Alif divided into two. The teacher was amazed. This was a miracle. The second story is about a king, a great king, who refused to live in a palace. He went to the forests. He loved to be out in nature. But an enemy from a foreign land sent an assassin to kill him so that he could take over the kingdom. So the assassin searched far and wide for the king, but he could not find him until one day he came into the forest where he had been told that the king was at rest. And as he approached the place where the king sat, his dagger at the ready to assassinate the king, as he got closer and closer, something very strange happened. And by the time he reached the king, he had put down his dagger, unable to complete the assassination. When he was in the presence of the king, he asked him, "Why is this? Why is it that I have been unable to fulfill, to complete this assassination?" And the king replied, "It is because of my oneness with God." Now the first story, we could say, is a conundrum. It can be thought about. Its elements can be discussed and debated. But what about this second story? What is it for you? The one, a conundrum that can be discussed, debated and thought about. But what for you is this second story? Not a person, not an enigma, not a riddle, not a conundrum. But what does it elicit in us?
It's like it dissolved any will to commit that assassination, that anything within him that's already wanted anymore. So it dissolved it.
Yes. What does it tell us about ourselves? When we can answer the question, if it is a question, in this way, what is it about us that we can claim, no longer needing to machinate it over in our mind, to discuss it or debate it? What does it make it, this story? When we can recognize what you've just stated.
to me. Kind of brings up when we're in our true nature.
So if we can claim this story with no need to discuss it, to debate it, to think about it in our mind, what does it do for us? What is it? Is it an affirmation? Is it a truth?
It's a deeper truth that we are all one. And how can I kill someone else if they realise their oneness?
Yeah.
Because through realising their oneness, they're prompting me as well to see that
Right on.
vibration.
So what is it you've recognized about life now? Anything that comes into our ethers, into our aura?
I would just, from my real experiences and feeling when I'm in this my own stillness or sitting in my own space and somebody comes into it, just from being in the shop and just people walking in and just things just change. It's like they become one with you and nothing needs to be done. Whether it's once I would fear the drug addict walking in and they come in, some changes, I couldn't explain it, but there's no fear left anymore, just sitting in the space doing nothing. Yeah. Something just transforms, maybe they relax with you because you're in that state too. There's a recognition of peace together.
I always think about this when I'm standing up in front of a classroom of very naughty kids.
Yes. Right on. Yes.
But then I had a grade 6 class yesterday and they're so tricky. But I think because I was told before I even started the day, you've got to be really firm with them. Sometimes it just works easier just to be myself, not try to pretend or put on that firmness because it really doesn't work for me. And just, but they are tricky and they do misbehave. But when you stand there close to them and look at them, they're just like in awe of you, and they become so childlike and beautiful, like they're children, but they become really sweet.
Yes.
Really beautiful.
I feel that too, face painting, and it happened over and over and over on the weekend, and everybody was stressed and cute, but every time someone sat down in front of me and I held them, it transforms, and I never seen my child sit so still, and Ida's mother said, oh, he's so difficult, he's such a difficult child. I went, shh, he's not beautiful, aren't you? Because he's so beautiful. She went,